Okay, this actually kind of ties in with that a little bit, this question. Would you propose any major cuts to the city budget? And if so, are there departments or services that could withstand them more than others? Or would you instead be in favor of every department making proportionally equal sacrifices?
Thank you. I've already recommended, I've already made my statement in that area. Right now, I believe that we should, I'm not sure you call these cuts or just holds, but I believe for this budget year, this coming year, that we should place a hold on our salaries, salary increases, salary adjustments, or I say a year, but it could be until we complete our study and be able to take focus on the direction that we're going to have to go to make a difference here. And I believe that we could hold back on our capital expenditures, which I think in our budget was about $400,000, if I can remember correctly. It's an area that we could hold back some things, except for things that may be absolutely necessities for safety and those types of things. Cutting the council, once again, is another thing we can do, but it's a long-range deal. And what we're finding out is nothing is a overnight, right now, today, kind of fix. So anything that we do that's going to change this city government and how we do business is going to have to be a long-range plan. And that's really, I believe, what the heart of this council is to come up with a plan that we can lay out and not just say, okay, we're all tired and wore out, there's enough of this, let's just do a payroll tax. We don't want to do that. We want to have a plan for the future.
Okay, Bill, same question. Would you propose any major cuts to the budget? If so, are there departments that could withstand them more than others, or would you be in favor of more proportionally equal sacrifice?
Let me tell you that we've had 15 hours of open meetings on the budget so far. Mr. Hudspeth, Mr. Mattingly, Mr. Lanier have worked tirelessly to try to come up with some numbers for us. I think what you have to remember, too, is that Murray, Kentucky is a pretty good place to live. The #1 retirement area in the United States, one of 100 best communities in the United States, and a community of promise. And I think the community of promise goes back to your very question. We have to look at all the departments and to see, some statements were made whether they're going to get new cars. Well, now, we know, Butch and I think most of the city council members know, we're on a rotation for cars, which makes more sense. If you've got 9 police cars, every 3 or 4 years, we switch out 3 of them so we don't have to do 12 at one time. That just kind of makes economical sense. So we have to look at every department. So to tell you right now, I know we're going to cut whatever department it may be, would be really unfair because we're still looking at those numbers. I think the 20th is the next time that we actually, as a group, will have a public meeting on that. People are willing to come. They can also, which I think is another feature of Murray, Kentucky, you can watch us on TV. I mean, maybe that's kind of a heartache for some people, and maybe we should have a makeup person, but you can, the second and fourth Thursdays, actually watch city council meetings and get your input into what's going on.
All right, the next question concerning the city's industrial park. Do you have a plan to aggressively recruit companies that would locate in Murray, or do you have other ideas that would bring more jobs here? And we start with Bill.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we're done with that one. No, but I do think, too, Economic Development Committee, Mark Manning, I think is one of the key people that we may have not mentioned yet, because I think that's one of the keys. We have an excellent university here. Obviously, that's the lifeblood for Murray right now. But if we have some industries that have come in, and Mark Manning and other people on EDC have aggressively done that. An industrial park, there's probably some cities that don't even have an industrial park, and we already have some takers in that. Obviously, Mark Manning's not going to share with us right now some of the ones that he's talking to, because that could mess up the whole deal. That was true when Pella came in. It was a secret until actually, can you imagine having Pella come in just as the timing of the situation where a big industry was leaving and we were going to be in dire straits, and then Pella shows up and takes over the whole park?
Yes.
So that was a very positive thing. So, yes, EDC is really one of the lifeblood things as far as the city of Murray is concerned in the future.
All right, for Butch, concerning the city's industrial park, do you have a plan to aggressively recruit companies that will locate in Murray, or do you have other ideas for jobs?
My plan is the same that it was back in the early 1980s when I worked on what we now call the old industrial park, and it was the new and up-and-coming one back in those days. And I was involved in not only the businesses coming, I was involved in laying that out, getting it ready for businesses. And I remember us thinking, well, we're going to run all of these utilities and spend all this money to get this piece of ground ready for companies, and we don't even know who they are yet. What's going to happen here is how's that going to pan out? Well, that property is all gone. And now you see the new industrial site being done, constructed on the, I guess it would be the west side of 641. And you'll notice how much, I believe it's a much, Mark and his operation are doing a wonderful job, and it looks nice. It looks like the kind of industrial park I would like to locate in if I was a business coming into Murray. And it's growth, it's progress, and I've been seeing that from the beginning. And I'm like Bill. Mark Manning is doing a wonderful job, I believe, recruiting businesses, and maybe I don't know how much time our mayors have actually been spending with him, but I remember how much time they spent in the past with the people who were in charge of our EDC, and it was a lot. And I hope that Bill would, I know that he would, and I would too, spend as much time as we absolutely could at recruiting businesses to this community.
Okay. Hawkins?
Okay, this sort of relates to something we had talked about a little bit earlier. When looking at a map of Murray, one notices how smaller, more recently added parts of the city limits sometimes branch out from the larger parts. Do you think this is a problem? And if so, what do you think are the biggest causes? And do you think the city's long-range plan addresses these issues?
Okay. I think what you asked, Hawkins, is that how do we deal with this, the way we've been taking people into the city, and when you look at a map, it's extremely odd looking because there's jagged edges, there's properties out there that we've just taken in. Well, I was involved in this also back in the 1980s. And in 1988, we made a presentation to this community to annex twice the size of Murray, Kentucky. And it was going to take in, and if you drew that original line, it went all the way around and took in every jagged edge that you see out there now. And what that was, it was good planning. It was in our departments, we were moving forward, and at that particular time in 1988, I was in private business, and I was doing all the surveying and engineering for all of the drawings that came forth to present that annexation. But that annexation would have taken in all of these areas and would have been a very proper thing for this community to do for the future. As a matter of fact, it was going to take in all of the industries. And most people don't understand that when you're annexing, there's a ratio there between the number of households and the size of an industry to how much land you got to take in. So that's why we had to take in twice the area of Murray to have enough households to be able to take in the industries and be a part of this city also. But that didn't happen. And so then what happened after that is the city council decided, well, by golly, if from now on, if somebody wants to be in have our utilities and our improvements, then they're going to have to request to come into the city limits. So what we did is we turned over the growth of Murray really to the developers. And our developers are wonderful, but sometimes the planning departments or those parts of cities have a better picture of the overall and where we're heading. And I just want to applaud even our planning department today and our engineering department for doing the job that they do in that area. But it's a very difficult one.